And hello all, and welcome to another day of Division E NGS. Now, this is week 1, so once again, not really too much to say about standings. It's everyone's first game, and today we have the really aggro Ghoul elites versus Habitual line steppers. It's going to be an interesting game, and I'm going to go a little bit quickly because it seems like everyone's already pretty set up in the lobby. But the map pick has been done. And, oh, I forgot to set up the first pick, but it was blue pick. So, yeah, Rage decided to go for map pick as their choice, and they have banned away Cursed Hollow and Garden of Terror. And then on Habitual Line Steppers, they have banned away Battlefield of Eternity and Brax's Holdout. Towers of Doom is going to be the first map we're going to be going to. And it's a very entertaining map. As we saw yesterday, I don't remember if that was played in the first series or the second series, but it's a very potentially snowbally map, but at the same time, it's one that even during the snowball will go pretty late into the game. It requires a lot of soak coming out of the offlaners, and it requires a lot of pressure coming out from really every member of the game. Now, yesterday we did see the first game for Division E, and it was a little bit of a win for 30 Seconds to Mosh. They did get the domination, and they're now sitting at 4 points as we are heading into draft momentarily. All right, well, we are in, we are here, we are ready for the draft for game number 1. Now, it is going to be first pick going towards red side. So naturally, they do get the first ban. Now, Dahaka, obviously very powerful on this map, able to do a lot of soaking. Leoric's pretty good. I mean, for me, Towers of Doom has always been a little bit more about the offlane, though obviously every single team is going to have their own view. And these teams know each other a lot better than I know them, so they'll definitely know what to ban. And Kel'Thuzad, definitely, well, not definitely, but I'm assuming that's going to be a ban to prevent someone on the side of Rage to play it. And Chromie getting banned away as well. Another long-range mage, a lot of poke coming out of Chromie, and then the Temporal Loop. We saw how powerful that ability could be yesterday, and it's definitely not something that's fun to play against. There are some ways to combat it, but it takes a lot of effort to try and beat a Chromie with Temporal Loop. Now, it has been 2 mages taken out early on. Vala is still in the pool for kind of a regular DPS, but Garrosh is going to be the second ban coming out for the Habitual Line Steppers. Interesting pick as well. Now, Garrosh typically does give a lot of pressure towards the engage. If you don't maintain the distance perfectly against Garrosh, we'll be able to start a fight. And speaking of, Dahaka was left open and was instantly picked up by HLS onto Vern 15. Now, Joanna was the final ban for Rage, and like I've been saying pretty much every cast, I promise I'll slow down with this soon. But did get a slight nerf, but still a very powerful hero. Anduin and Malthael gonna get picked by Rage. Now, Malthael definitely has slower clear speed compared to Dahaka. However, Malthael has much, much higher kill potential. And it also makes drafting a little bit harder. Garrosh, one of those tanks that's more armor-based rather than HP-based, already taken out of the pool. And Malthael burns through HP, is all that percent damage. As Stukov and Sylvanas gonna get locked in as well. Now we're on to the next set of bans. There's no tank, there's no healer, so Rage probably going to ban one of... Oh, wait, there is a healer, Stukov. But there is no tank. However, they could also potentially be worried about Bruiser. but they will get rid of the Varian just to prevent that Varian Stukov combo. It is really good. Anduin is a pretty solid counter to it, but sometimes the combo's too strong anyway. And if they do manage to land it onto Anduin, basically makes the rest of the fight nigh unplayable. With no healer, with no cleanse, that taunt is always going to land, and the lurking arm just makes it so much more complicated to try and defend against it. And now for the final ban for this game, it is going to be the Diablo. So big high HP hero gonna get removed. Now the Diablo is a very powerful tank as well, and just in general, the tank pool is shrinking quite a bit. 4 out of the bans got sent straight towards the tanks. And Anubarak and Vala gonna get locked in for Rage. Honey Badger and Rexiad gonna be playing them. And Anubarak is a pretty interesting pick here for me. I think I like it for a few different reasons. One, Anubarak is another one of those tanks that isn't a high HP tank. And by taking away even more options that are more low HP, armor-based tanks, it kind of forces them to go for someone like the Muradin potentially, who is... oh, called it. There we go. The Muradin, who is high HP. So Melthiel will have a lot more value into that. Tracer is quite powerful as well. Does kind of limit to the builds that you can do when you're playing into it. I do believe in general you want to have more consistent damage rather than skill shot damage. So someone like Vala, most likely, I would recommend the auto attack build. I think the Hungering Arrow build. If you can land it, it's really good, but it's hard to land attacks on a Tracer. And Junkrat going to be the 10th and final pick going over for K4K. So pretty interesting drafts coming out from both sides. Pretty standard drafts, I will say. The Tracer's probably the main thing that's kind of a little bit out of left field, but I think it's pretty decent into here. The Anubarak doesn't really have any instantaneous engages besides potentially Cocoon, so Tracer will be able to kind of run away and overall just run around during this game. But let's get ready to head into game number 1. All right, here we are, game number 1. Still loading in a little bit, so be patient. It won't take too long. But what I was kind of saying before the timer ran out is I don't think I really favor any of these individual drafts. Maybe a slight edge towards Rage, but I do think Tracer's good into Junkrat. I think it's good into Anduin. And Melthiel doesn't really do too much to Tracer. We'll have a little bit of DPS coming out because it's guaranteed damage. But it is completely... it's completely max percent HP based, which makes it a lot harder, as we do have a pause immediately. So let's take a little minute while we sort that out. Not much to say here, so we're just going to head back here while we do have that pause. I am keeping an eye on chat, and it looks like Children Agro is the reason stated for the break. So it is going to be coming back soon. Both sides have said they're ready, so it looks like it's not going to be too long a pause. And that's always good, because I'll be honest, I also do cast League of Legends outside of this. And let me tell you that sometimes when the pauses happen in that game, they last ages. And when I say ages, I mean the longest pause I've ever casted was a 15-minute pause. Just because someone got booted by the Riot client and couldn't get back in. We actually ended the stream after that. Very good company. But Blizzard games, despite being kind of... I mean, let's be honest, they don't really sustain HOTS. Not the way they used to. The servers still work. The servers still work fantastically, even. But anyway, to go back into the game, it is going to be a little bit of a different start coming out from the Habitual Line Steppers. They're sending all 4 members to the bot lane immediately. Typically, you'll see both teams kind of fighting for mid priority. But it looks like they want to have this aggressive push, and with the Black Arrows, potentially look towards... taking down this cannon tower. Now the Impale is going to land on it too, but then with the Burrow Charge as well. Not going to be too long here. They're going to be getting set back up, but there is a little bit of a fight happening mids between Sanraku and Vern. And in fact, the rest of the team is coming through here as well. No more heroes on that Tracer. is something they need to watch out for in the offlane because Tracer can get between lanes very quickly. Oh, sorry. Yeah, can get between lanes very quickly. Now they do land the Stormhammer, just a little bit of damage over onto Honey Badger. Pretty much just being used to zone people away, but not going to be continuing too hard in there. Now Peldor on the Muradin is looking for a potential angle. Both tanks are kind of hiding in the bushes. But we'll be okay. It's just going to reset back here. Like I said, Tracer dealing about half HP to Sunraku. Both are going to have to tap and heal. But because of that, Vern has been pushing the top side. So we'll be a little bit slow to get to the XP orbs. But none of them have shrank down to the mini orbs quite yet. So end of the day, nothing lost there. As the siege camp is going to go down to Rage. A little bit slow on the side of HLS relative to their counterparts. But they'll be able to clear up their own sappers safely as well. Now they do have the push, and what's going to be interesting is whether or not these sappers are actually going to be able to land. And they do have a very good lane positioning right now for it, and they're trying to slow them down. Felder trying to stay forward, but not going to happen. All three are going to land, and the gate is gone. And with the gate, half HP on that bottom cannon tower as well. As a bro charge does land on a Pelder. They do have the concussive mine, but that's just going to throw the healer away. Pelder taking so much damage. Just a little bit more. Trying to get away. 90 HP, but Rexiod not going to have the distance. Potentially could have gotten that kill, but would have had to trade their life for it. And this is a Creed of the Hunter. So like I said during the draft phase, it is the auto attack Vala build. And that's a Gambit talent. You definitely do not want to trade 1-for-1 when you have that talent. And now Pelder looking on the side, but Honey Badger is the first one to go in. They have the Impale. The Concussive Mine is actually going to blow Dirtwig back to safety. But now Honey Badger is getting a bit low, but gets thrown into the Snap Trap. Pelador getting taken down to a quarter HP, but should be fine. Has the passive, has the healer. And now the first altars are spawning. 15 seconds left. And there is a kind of 2v1 happening in the mid to top side. It looks like No More Heroes decides they are going to group over towards the bot side for this. Just trying to dodge away, but does get hit by the burrow charge, but no follow-up onto it. Now the altar fights are beginning. There is a one-on-one fight happening on the top side. Vern versus Sanraku. They're both looking for each other. The drag is not going to land, and now K4K is here as well. And Vern taking quite a bit of damage. It is 2-on-1, so will need to run away. But in the meanwhile, we'll be able to get back. The fight's happening over the bot side. Rexar gonna get hit with a bomb and will go down. The pulse bomb gonna get the first blood, and that's one stack gone from Creed of the Hunter. But, however, in the top side, they have been able to get their first altar, the bot altar, now going for Habitual Line Steppers. So it's gonna be 2-for-1 altars going in favor of the Habitual Line Steppers as they're able to push away K4K. Now the XP lead slightly in their favor as well since they were able to get themselves that kill. Less than half a level, so it's nothing too worrisome yet for a Rage. But it is something that is a solid lead at this point. Level 7 talents are about to hit for them. And with this Afro camp up, they could look for the play, but they're looking for K4K instead. The Stormhammer just going to go wide. Good look, though. Whenever you see someone on the enemy team alone and in a bad spot, gotta try and push on those timers. Now, the siege camp is gonna go down. Rexiod and really the entire team of Rage took it together. It was a team effort, but now the bro charge has gone by Honey Badger. Honey Badger gonna get pulled back by Leap of Faith, so we'll be okay. A little bit of poke going down. Actually, a lot of poke going on to Peldor. Peldor losing a lot of their HP there. And in the meanwhile, Sunraku's actually taking the top camp. Vern gonna try fighting for that. Not too much to look in the bot lane. Rage does take their camp now, but now Vern trying to fight onto Sunraku, and they're both just standing there. And Vern will be able to actually steal that camp back. Thank you for your hard work, Sunraku, but I'm going to take the spoils. And No More Heroes is here, and the drag land, so that's going to be another kill. Going over towards Habitual Line Steppers. Now the push has been started over on the bot side. They have the Sapper camp pushing with them. And the Sapper camp is going to land on the top side and basically destroys the entire wall on the top side. Broshot's just being used to clear away these Sappers. But Boomer APM is trying to get as much pressure coming in from the side. They really want these Sappers to land. And No More Heroes is going to be here with a Pulse Bomb as well. And again, just kind of used for poke, just kind of used for pressure to get these Sappers in. 2 are going to get taken out, but 1 will land, so they will get something out of it. 1 out of 3 ain't bad when the other option is 0. The altars are up. K4K gonna take 1, and Vern 15 gonna take the other. So it's an even trade here, 4 for 4 damage. Still the 1 altar lead for Habitual Line Steppers, the 4 HP lead on the core. Stormhammer gonna land on the Honey Badger, but no follow-up there. Boomer APM once again just trying to DPS. Third Freaks here as well, and with the wave will be able to get away, but now No More Heroes might be in a bad spot, but will be able to just dash away. Honey Badger also starting to get taken out quite low. 300 HP is getting healed by the Anduin. Lagwagon making sure the Honey Badger stays alive, but over the top, they cannot save the Vala. And that's going to be another kill going over for the Habitual Line Steppers. I know they are level 10. They do have their heroics out now. But they're going to go towards the bot side instead. They're going to start clearing the wave and potentially start looking towards taking down this wall. It'll still be a little bit difficult. There are 3 members here for the defense. But they're aiming for Lagwing. They do land the Stormhammer, but unfortunately the Chastise was there to prevent any kind of follow-up pushing through. Now, in the meanwhile, it is now over a level lead, just slightly over a level. And now the Pulse Bomb going to get hit on the Sanraku. No More Heroes is taking a decent bit of damage. Chastise goes wide. Sanraku getting taken down solo. Boomer APM is here as well. And Pelder lurking arm. And with the stun, they're going to be able to take down the Malthael. Boomer APM is able to get away on the side of our screen. But now it is 4v5 still here. And 1 more kill for HLS, and they're able to get off scot-free. I believe that is now 2 stacks getting taken down from the Gambit. But Creed of the Hunter is still very worthwhile to take, even without that attack speed bonus. The beauty of the Gambit, you'll always get something out of it. The question is how much value. Now, there is only going to be the 1 altar, so it's going to be 5v5. Even talents here right now. Ultimates are actually favoring Rage for the next 30 seconds. And now the Riptide gets thrown out. That's going to be used for poke and for scouting, as they are able to hit onto No More Heroes. But now the fight's really happening. Stasis gets thrown down. Cocoon as well. They're able to get the stun. Rain of Vengeance onto the Tracer, but No More Heroes able to get away in time. But Vern, with the last strikes, is going to go down. And they're trying to hit onto Pelder. But Pelder able to heal back up in time with the Avatar. And Honey Badger at 40 HP. Pelder at 200. But Honey Badger stays alive. Pelder goes down. So Vadis will follow. And that's a 3-0 for Rage, as they bring the game back for themselves. No More Heroes still getting pressured, and there is the camp, and No More Heroes will go down. So make that a 4-0 and a siege camp and an altar for Rage. And then there's also going to be how much can they get with this siege camp. They're going to have 3 sappers. There is no wall. And with the numbers advantage they have, they should be able to land all 3 sappers onto this fort. Now they have finished off the wave, and 1, 2, 3, about 3/4 HP going to get taken down. And now the Lurkin Arm is being utilized. They're aiming for K4K, but not going to land. Peldor not able to hit onto that. It is still difficult. They're mostly just trying to zone. It would have been a 3v4, so Peldor could not go full aggro there, as there's a bit of a fight happening on the top side. Vern versus Sanraku. Aiming for the drag, but well dodged by Sanraku. And now Vern will have the HP, has the stun, has a couple more autos. And looks like they're trying to get this solo kill. Sanraku got to be running back. Gets hit with the drag. 1 more hit, and Vern got to get a solo kill in the offlane. And now the fight is breaking away in the bot side at the same time. But the snap trap will land on Peldor, preventing the aggro. Level 13 talents now hit by Habitual Line Steppers. And Vern also shows up in the bot side, making this a 4v5. Impale lands on Peldor and the Rain of Vengeance. And they're able to knock Peldor back. Avatar going to get thrown out. Chastise lands as well. And Burrow Charge. But Peldor is just so tanky. Will get rooted by the Snap Trap again. A couple more autos, but the swipe from Turtwig just in time to keep Peldor alive. And they do secure the siege camp. And they secure the Anubarak. HLS, they did give away a little bit for Rage, but they're able to bring it back into their lead. And with these 2 sappers landing, they're going to take a good chunk of this bot side wall. Now, 3rd sapper is going to get cleared away, so not too much pressure coming there. But No More Heroes will take the bottom altar as the fight is happening towards kind of the mid lane altar. But with that, they're going to take down K4K. And they will take down Sanraku as well, and the Anduin. So that's a 3-0 for Habitual Line Steppers. With the Black Arrows, they're going to be able to turn off the forts as well and start pushing. No More Heroes just trying to zone away Rexion. Not going to land the Pulse Bomb, but we'll be able to have that back pretty quickly. This fort will go down. There's not too much they can do about it. And almost, more than a 2-level lead right now for Habitual Line Steppers, as this lead is really starting to grow. And with this extra fort, they're going to have a lot more pressure on the map. They're going to have a lot more opportunity on the map. Rexion almost going to get caught, but Peldor not going to quite land the hammer. Rexiod managed to get away in time. Landing that hammer was very difficult in that position. Now Rexiod looking for a corner play, but Vern is here, will not land the drag, just slightly out of range. But even with that, they're able to get the pressure in the mid lane. They're able to start pushing onto this. And now that the level 13 talents are hit, they're even, but only for a little bit, because level 16 is right on the edge. For Habitual line steppers, they are looking for the fight. They do get the cocoon and the chastise as well, and the sweep, but light bomb not going to land onto anything. Pelder gonna get pushed away with last rights, and that will be enough to get the kill. The level 16s are now coming out, but Boomer APM also going to go down 2 for 2 so far. Chastise gets thrown out. Now Rexiod just running around getting some autos. A 2 for 2 in this situation is really good, but the drag does land, and it's going to be onto Lagswagon, and Lagswagon is going to go down. The Rain of Vengeance has been utilized. No, one more charge is available. It's just Sanraku and Rexiod. But it is going to be a 3-4-2 at the end of the day for Habitual line steppers. But again, any fight that accelerates the pace of the game is in favor of Rage. As long as it's not a massive win for HLS, as long as Rage gets something out of it, that's a win for them. Because the sooner they get to level 20, the less this XP lead means anything. And I think at this rate, they really will need to get to level 16 and level 20 before it really matters. Now it's going to be 2-1 altars once again, favoring Rage. That's going to be 10 to 3 HP actually. So 10 health left on the core for really aggro Ghoul elites. Now they are clearing away this bot side, and they are starting to aim towards this fort. They do have the inner positioning, but the side of Habitual line steppers, they do still have the core itself, and they do have 5 members. Now the recall is going to get utilized by No More Heroes, and the drag does land on the Honey Badger. Honey Badger will get saved, will still be alive, but not a lot of HP. No More Heroes might have gone a little bit too deep, but will be able to just dash away to safety. Rain of Vengeance will land as well. No More Heroes down to 200 HP. Swipe going to get utilized. Vern tries to land the drag, but not going to land. The Snap Trap does go, and the Concussive Mine going to knock Boomer APM away. And with that, Sunraku able to deal a lot of damage, and Last Rites will get the kill. But now No More Heroes still sitting at 200 HP, and it's another 1-for-1. But like I always say, at this point in the game, 1-for-1s, they are in favor of Rage. If they're able to increase the pace and level themselves up, they're down a talent. Trading evenly is good for them right now. Vern is going to be able to land the drag, though, and just like that, K4K is going to go down. One skill shot is really all it takes. And just like that, it's a 2-for-1. They're able to keep the safety of their fort. And the next altar is spawning. It is worth 5 HP right now if Habitual line steppers can get it. So and they actually got 1 health with the Sapper. So between this and the boss, they do have enough to win the game if they are able to secure this altar. Now, K4K will be up in time. Will be a little bit late to the fight itself. But they are aiming to take down this fort. And they really do need to take it down. And this will prevent this from being a boss plus altar win condition. Now Pelder gonna get hit by Sanraku, and the fight's coming through, and the light bulb lands onto all 3 members, and the Rain of Vengeance follow. They're just autoing onto everyone. Turdwig gonna get taken out solo. 1 more auto, and the healing is coming through in time. The Riptire is gonna go down. And just like this, the Habitual line steppers are able to win the fight. It was so close, but it's just not enough. 3 members down. Rexiod to follow. K4K will run away just to tell the tale. As really aggro Ghoul elites have been taken down. They're at 5 HP left on their core. And will be losing this next fort right back. And in fact, might be losing 2 as Vern takes down the mid lane as well. Very close fight. And really aggro Ghoul elites just needed a little bit more to win that. I think even if they had the stats from level 17, I actually think that fight goes their way. But they are behind, not in talents, but just in the raw stats was enough of a difference maker. Now 5 HP, they are going for the boss now. The boss will not win them the game, but it will bring them down to 1 HP. Rage cannot allow any more errors. Really, they have to win everything hard from now on. They're not allowed to give up even a single point. Now the boss is going to get taken down, but the burrow charge does come through, but the swipes will allow it to come through. And with that, they're able to take down Honey Badger. Lagwagon is running. Vern gonna get hit by the chastise, but still aiming. Drag still not available. And will land just in time to collect the Riptire for the team. So a little bit of a present for them from K4K. But how much effect will that really have? They still got 1 kill. They still got the altars. And they just need 1 more damage on the core. And now Turtwig is looking. And Vern does come through. The drag isn't going to land. The Chastise does. Rexion just kind of sneaky. They haven't checked that bush yet. Things could get bad if they do. But now Rexion is here looking for the play. But now Rexion is completely alone. Rain Avenger's not going to land. The Pulse Bomb will. But now Sanroku taking so much damage on the back line. They do have the Light Bomb, but it doesn't matter. The game is over. And one final Sapper was able to come through during that and win game number 1 for Habitual Line Steppers. It's definitely an interesting way. I don't think I even noticed the final little Sapper coming through. But regardless of whether I notice or not, that is round number 1 going in favor of the Habitual Line Steppers. Now with that, we're going to go to a short little break. And when we come back, it's going to be game number 2. But before I go, I have made a community Discord server. It is still somewhat under construction. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with it. But if you're interested in joining, if you want to see my casts, whether I'm doing it on this channel or whether I'm doing one of my League of Legends ones, feel free to join. And let me know if there's anything you want added. I'm still figuring it out as I go. But anyway, we're going to go to the break. And when we come back, it'll be game number 2. Don't go anywhere.
Dragonshire.
All right, and we are back with game number 2 between really aggro Ghoul Elites and Habitual Line Steppers. Now it's going to be first pick once again for HLS, and we are in the Dragon Shire. Going to be a very interesting map. It is a well, it's also a tall map, kind of like Towers of Doom, but you're not as confined to one lane, perhaps. And I believe this was picked by the blue team once again. So really Agro Ghoul did select this map for themselves. And Ahaka actually going to be the first ban for them. They did not like playing against that drag from Vern. Vern able to land a lot of really clutch drags that game. As Kel'Thuzad going to once again be the first ban for the Habitual line steppers. Now they're looking for their second ban. Still going to take their time. Now, it was the tanks last time, but this time they're going to ban away Hogger. Hogger very strong on Dragonshire. Very solid offlaner, and being able to stay in the lane for a long time is very important. And Stukov going to be the second ban, so removing two of the heroes from Habitual line steppers. But unfortunately, this does mean they're keeping Garrosh alive, and interestingly enough, it's going to be Vern picking it up this time. So potentially Vern going to move over to the tank position, as Peldor will likely go to offlane, I assume. Or maybe this is some advanced tech and it is the offlane Garrosh. Anduin and Chromie going to get locked in for Rage. And Chromie was actually banned by them last game. But they decided this time they're going to pick it for themselves. And in fact, for tanks, Johanna is still available as well, if that's something that Rage want to look into. However, there's going to be one more set of bans before their next pick is available. Now, playing into Chromie is a little bit difficult. There's some heroes you really cannot pick, such as Mephisto, but Tyrande and Sonya both very solid picks. And it is going to be Peldor going into the offlane on that Sonya, Turtwig healing on the Tyrande. And Tyrande, one of those healers that can deal a ton of DPS while also maintaining the team's health bars. Very strong hero, and I think overlooked a little bit, though I've definitely noticed that Tyrande has definitely gone up in popularity, especially recently. Each side is going to get a ban, and it's going to be the Vala getting banned away by Rage. And the Johanna is still open if Habitual line steppers do want to get rid of it. However, they may not care because the ban was on the side of Rage last time. Offlaner matchup, I don't think there's any that are too bad for Sonya that are left, but they are just going to ban away the Mei instead. With Tyrande and Sonya, it does make sense with the blind, and they likely do need at least one more auto attack based DPS, so very solid ban. But the Stitches locked in for a Honey Badger. Gonna be a very solid pick if they're able to land the hooks. That's the interesting thing about Stitches. It's either going to look really good or it's not going to do much at all, and it all depends on how many hooks land and what hooks land. As Zul'jin locked in for K. Now, I've talked about this every single cast so far, but this is the first time I'm going to talk about it, where K4K is, or where Zul'jin is actually being played. Now, Zul'jin has gotten a pretty massive change in the last round of patches. Did lose a lot of damage from stacks. However, the base damage has gone up a lot. And now for HLS, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sylvanas and Tracer are going to get locked in as their two DPSs. Now, Tracer not going to be quite as good on this map as she was over in Towers of Doom, at least in terms of pressuring out the offlane. Just because the offlane is a bit more of an island, it is a lot further away than it is in Towers of Doom. And Blaze going to get locked in for Sunraku, so it is going to be the offlane Blaze coming out here. And I mean this, as for my draft analysis, whenever there's a Stitches involved, it's always the same. If the Stitches can land the hook, I favor Rage. If the Stitches can't land the hook, I favor HLS. So it's one of those heroes that just completely changes the nature of the game and how everyone's going to be playing. But with that, let's get ready for game number 2. All right, and we are back for game number 2. Still loading into the Dragonshire. Gonna get the Dragon Knights. Gonna be a bit more difficult to wake them up since it's the winter. And now everyone has come in. And what I'm kind of curious about is how the Zul'jin is going to build. It is going to be Grievous Throw. Will give a little bit more mana. So now, which one's Grievous Throw? I believe that's just the one that goes straight forward. Yeah. So what I've noticed, at least what I've seen over on the Reddits and all the different theory chats, is that Zul'jin may start getting played a little bit more like a caster than an auto attacker. Just because or at least in terms of the talent gain, because the stacks no longer stack infinitely, and I believe they only give 0.25 damage per stack. Yeah, they are gonna give a little bit of a poke towards Honey Badger to start anyway. But they do have the black arrows, they do have the Sylvanas, and they're gonna go immediately for the top lane tower. Now Vern is getting ready in case they do come out from the side, but Sunraku able to hit the jet propulsion onto 3 members. Now the fight is starting to come through. Peldar actually taking out quite low. Vern gonna be able to save him. But with the jet propulsion landing, Vern is the one that's kind of in trouble. He is healing a lot from Turdwig. But just a couple more autos. Peldar coming in as well. 60 HP. And no, the twin cleave just not going to land. So close for Rage to get the first blood onto 2 of the members. But now no more heroes. Is going to take a little bit of poke damage as well. Sunraku gotta just dismount no more heroes. But no one's going to go down in the process. But now both sides are just kind of pushing away. The hook just barely not going to land on the Turdwig. And over the bot side, Boomer APM has already pushed in the lane. And actually a decent bit of miss soak coming out from Rage. Almost getting that first blood was definitely good. However, they were not able to actually get it. And they were slow to get back to the bot lane afterwards. Now K4K and Rexion going to take their siege camp. And Turdwig and Boomer APM going to take their siege camp. So both sides just going to trade those away. The Honey Badger looking for the hook. Not going to land on Vern as well. Will get a little bit easier as the game goes on. We'll have extra range and all of that stuff coming through onto the hook. Now Vern looking for the boulder toss. I believe that's what it's called. Wrecking Ball. I had it wrong so many times last night that I'm just out confusing myself. But yeah, it's Wrecking Ball and Groundbreaker, and the save one is Into the Fray. But now Honey Badger are going to take control of the bottom shrine. In fact, they do have control of... Oh, not both shrines. We're not able to get the last little bit there. But with the mid lane being fully in control but with Turdwig and Vern, they're definitely not going to be able to turn this into a Dragon Knight. But they will be able to turn this into pressure as Boomer APM gets hit and the Chastise lands as well. K4K just needs a little bit more damage, but not enough to get the kill. But that's still the top 4 stab. Boomer APM gets taken down solo. And now Turdwig and Vern also going to be here as well, looking for the Wrecking Ball. But it's not going to come through. Now the hook also going to go a little bit wide, a little bit south of Vern. But like I said, the hook is one of those abilities where you only really need to land it once. That one hook onto Boomer APM significantly lowered the amount of pressure that Sylvanas could have. It forced the rest of the team to have to come back bottom just trying to deal with it. Wrecking Ball just going to be used as a little bit of a poke on a Honey Badger. But there was a kill in the mid lane. Rexion actually able to get first blood 1v3. But in the meanwhile, it's just going to... The Dragon Knight has been taken. Now Dragon Knight is going to be here. Going over towards the bot side. Interesting pick. Typically, we do see the Dragon Knight pushing towards mid lane, but this time they decide to push towards the bot side. It does give a lot more pressure when it comes to getting multiple dragons. And the more pressure they have on the bottom shrine, the more likely it is they're going to be able to get another one. But not able to walk up quite yet, but the hook does land. It's on to Vern, though, and the Chastise underneath both towers, taking so much damage, but Turdwig able to come out with the healing. But that will lower the pressure onto this wall. And the Dragon Knight is starting to expire, still only using the Fire Breath. Not kicking anyone away either. They will be backing up on the Dragon Knight. Only get a little bit damage dealt. But this early on, the Dragon Knight doesn't really do that much damage anyway. And the minion gonna take the hook. Vern able to actually land the Groundbreaker. But no follow-up as the Chastise was able to prevent it. Rexion actually taking a ton of damage in the mid lane. The Tracer is very good into the Chromie. All of Chromie's abilities are quite slow. They have a very long cast time as well and a very obvious cast time. They're going to be very difficult to actually deal damage to the Tracer back. And No More Heroes could just run around autoing freely. And there's not too much they can go from there. Now Honey Badger is solo holding the bot side as the Bruiser Camp is now finished on the side of Rage. Gonna be matched by HLS. And now the Siege Camps are gonna get started. Are gonna be taken down as well. K4K and Lagwagon able to take down their Siege Camp. And once again, Turtwig and Boomer APM just gonna take theirs. So everyone's just collecting camps. A little bit of a push and trade happening the top side. And Sanroku actually dealing a good amount of damage to Keldar. Does have the magic resistance, so with the Bruiser Cap makes it a little bit harder. Jet Propulsion is going to line out too much damage, but the real fight is happening in the bot side. K4K is in the team, just trying to run away, but not enough HP left. No More Heroes is here as well. Post Bomb going to land on the bandwagon, or Lagwagon, and No More Heroes taking a decent bit of damage, but does have the recall. But the hook lands on a Vern, and will that be enough? The Chastise lands as well, and with the towers, they will be able to trade that kill back. So a 1-for-1 at the end of the day, but very clutch hook at the end to bring that play back in the favor of Rage. Now level 10s are close for both teams. It is the slowing sands coming through for the Chromie, for Rexion. And out the time-lapse is going to get hit. No More Heroes just going to be able to dash away. And that's kind of the difficulty of playing this. Because no more... this matchup specifically, I should say. As a Chromie, it's so difficult to hit No More Heroes, and even if you do catch them in one of the, I'm not even sure what they're called. Mark's Pursuit? Oh, the Time Trap. Yeah, even if you're able to catch them in one of the Time Traps, it's still hard to land any meaningful damage after it. Now, Vern looking. The hook is going to go slightly wide, almost lands on a Turtwig, and they're actually able to get the Dragon Knight immediately. The Rexion just going to start walking up and just start slamming to end of this mid lane tower, but now the Wrecking Ball has been used. But Vern able to walk away. It is a little bit of a tanky target to aim for, but even forcing the Stitches to walk backwards, always good. The Dragon Knight just going to be able to take down the wall and nothing else. The Rexion might actually go down a little bit too early, trying to run through and will be slowed, will be taking damage, but is safe behind the wall. Honey Badger going to be here now. And the Gorge immediately onto the Sonya. Does have Leap to get away, so it is one of the few characters that can get out. So Felder using that immediately. The Bunker going to get utilized as well. And Rexion actually gets tossed in by Vern, but does have Stasis. And Rexion will get burst as soon as they're out. Jet Propulsion lands onto all 5. But unfortunately, the DPS is already gone. So another kill going over for Habitual Line Steppers. And now they're going to transition over towards the bot lane. There is a Bruiser Camp available if they want to look for it, but No More Heroes going to get hooked. But again, it is the Tracer. So hard to catch onto the Tracer. The only real damage they have is the Zul'jin. That's the only consistent DPS they have. And really no consistent stuns or lockdown for them either. No More Heroes actually almost gets hit by that hook. Neither side knew how close that was, though. But the Bruiser Camp is going to get taken down. Still no huge XP lead, though. This game is surprisingly close. No forts are down yet. This is going to be a little bit of a push coming through. Honey Badger going to do their best. And in the middle on the top side, Sanroku actually does have the push in their favor. Slowing Sand's going to be utilized as the Siege Camp is starting to get contested on. But they're looking for the fight. Vaughn going to get hit with the Unstoppable. But no follow-up here. Slowing Sand's causing a lot of chaos, but no one's going to go down, and no real fight is going to be breaking out, but the Gorge going to get utilized. And they're going to be able to pull them back. Light Bomb combo, but it's so hard to land on No More Heroes, but the hook on top of that into the Jet Propulsion. Oh my god, what a play. Whether, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that was perfect stun synergy after the dashes came through. That is an... I don't think I've ever seen a play like that. That was actually insane. With that, they're gonna aim to pressure. The Siege Camp is already gone. Honey Badger actually gets thrown over the wall by Vern. And they're not gonna be able to get any push with that. Sorry, I just still can't believe that play. Everything landing perfectly onto No More Heroes across different sides. Now, the Tracer is back, so they're not really gonna be able to get too much out of that pressure, but they are gonna be able to get the Shrine ready. But they're not going to go for the Dragon Knight because they know they have the pressure over in the bot side. They're just going to push. They're going to auto attack and finish off this wall. But there are numbers here. Barn gonna get hit, and the Unstoppable will be able to throw the healer back. Now Lagwagon is in a bad spot, and the taunt and the Wailing Arrow on top of it all. Lagwagon is gonna go down. Now No More Heroes getting thrown down onto K4K. Honey Badger does have Gorge and will take the Tracer. Now the Lunar Flare will land, but they're gonna prevent it with another hook, and No More Heroes is starting to get quite low. A couple more autos. But the fourth's just not dealing any damage. The Black Arrows have been utilized by Boomer APM just to make this fight a little safe for them. And now the leap onto the backside only lands on a Rexion, but that's all you really need. Goes into stasis, but that's not enough. Honey Badger going to get taken down as well. And with that, the aggressive play favoring Habitual Line Steppers, and the post bomb even used for good measure to help damage onto this. But somehow, during all of that, the Blaze is able to take the Dragon Knight. And with the Bruiser Camp top, this could be a trade of forts, just going on to the other end. Now, a bunch of members are coming up top, so maybe the Dragon Knight will not have enough DPS to take it down quite yet, as Vern does get kicked away. A little bit more auto attacks are coming through. It is a Blaze, so the Blaze is quite tanky, and yeah, definitely not enough damage coming through. Vern, you're going to actually use the Unstoppable to prevent the kick. But the Dragon Knight is still quite healthy. Half HP, half the timer left. No More Heroes is trying to burn more and more of the HP, but might be able to get a bit more DPS onto this mid lane fort. Now, the rest of the team is not there, but instead of that, they're going to be pressuring onto this bot side fort. And with K4K, a lot of auto attack down from the Zeldin. Don't get me wrong, just because you're not necessarily going for it. And in fact, it's vicious. Or sorry, it is the Tastic. I was looking at the wrong talents here. I was so confused. But the stun and the Leap of Faith going to be utilized to keep Honey Badger alive. Pelador is here as well. We'll use the leap and we'll go immediately in. And that's going to be another kill for them. Habitual Line Stepper is going to get themselves a 6th kill for the game. They are level 16. Level 16, very close for Relay Aggro Ghoulies, but not quite yet. But the Siege Camp, I believe this would be enough if they're able to secure it. But Vern knows they have the lead. They know they have the numbers. Just walks right up and takes it underneath their nose. That's going to be a Siege Camp that's no longer going to be in play. They're going to be able to clear it out, so no pressure coming out from it. But still, it's XP stolen from Rage and put into the pockets of the Habitual Line Steppers. Now, Peldor is pushing out in the top side, but Sanraku is there to match it. We'll just clear this away. Level 16's now hit by Rage, so they aren't even talent tiers. Level and a quarter in favor for HLS, but until level 20, that's not going to mean too much. Honey Badger looking for the hook. Boomer APM not going to get hit by it, but Honey Badger is going to get thrown to the back, but the Gorge going to get utilized immediately, and the Leap of Faith, and the Light Bomb over top, and the Light Bomb lands on a 3, and now they're hitting K4K, just trying to auto-attack in the back line, but it's so much harder now. And with that, Rexion's going to go down, Honey Badger's going to go down, everyone's going down. Thundercoo actually going to get thrown over the wall by Vern, but we'll be okay. But that's a 3-0 for Habitual Line Steppers. And they do have a Siege Camp pushing in the bot side and a cannon. And they have a Sylvanas. So they're going to be able to get a lot out of this. K4K just trying to deal damage over the wall. But has been a little bit difficult for them. Now, a couple more hits and the last cannon tower is going to go down. Still 15 seconds. Black Arrow is going to get utilized on the keep itself, as Vern just zoning away K4K, and this should be the first keep of the game going down. Sanraku trying to match by taking the forward in mid lane, but will take a little bit more time. May not be able to finish, in fact won't, as Peldor is already here to try and prevent this from happening. And just like that, the game has definitely opened up for Habitual Line Steppers. Having the entire keep down in the bot lane makes it so difficult for Rage to really start defending and getting more Dragon Knights for themselves. The hook, however, does land on the Turtwig, and that is exactly the target you want. And yeah, I think Turtwig's just gone. Definitely nothing they can do about that. That's the healer dead, but the Dragon Knight is still there. And that's what I mean by this. Because of where, oh, sorry, has No More Heroes also going to get hit, but will have the recall just in time. K4K just going to auto onto this Dragon Knight. And the kick is going to come through to push K4K into the bot lane. And that's their main DPS. Or, I should say, Rexion is still a very strong DPS, but the Zul'jin is definitely better at taking down Dragon Knight. But the Dragon's Breath, however, dealing so much damage over top. So not going to be able to get too much value out of this Dragon Knight. But that's the pressure you get by having that bottom keep gone. even when a play does happen, the waves are just in such a state that it's hard to defend on the side of Rage. Sanraku trying to buffer with jet propulsion, but I don't believe it works that way. Black arrows have been utilized, and this could be a good fighting angle, but unfortunately jet propulsion won't land. The Chastise does land on Peldor, and Peldor gonna get absolutely deleted. Honey Badger is here as well, looking for the angle, and will land. Oh, I thought that was gonna land on a boomer, but it does not, just barely goes wide. Now Sanraku gonna be once again just a little bit short on the jet propulsion, but Vern is starting to get slowed down. Honey Badger trying to get the chase, and the Gorge gonna get utilized. And that's gonna be utilized on the Garrosh. They are gonna use the Leap of Faith to pull them back, and the Light Bomb will land as well. Just a couple more autos. Latana's coming through. Turtwig trying to keep them alive, but the healing is not enough when there's all 5 members of Rage just piling onto the tank. So now it's 5v3 on the map. They're gonna steal their own siege camp now. And this is actually a pretty big camp to steal for them. It's a not super healthy fort over in this bot side, and these siege camps deal a lot of damage at this point. Black Arrow's even gonna get utilized by Boomer APM. Gonna get pulled in. Will be able to jump away with the Haunting Wave. But the bottom fort will go down. Top fort went down. Well, top fort went down a while ago, but the mid lane fort also not looking to be in too hot of an area. And this is gonna kind of slow down the natural push that's coming through. Now Honey Badger is just kind of tanking the fort here. Not too worried about it. Peldor going in though, and with the Lunar Flare, gonna be able to get the extra stun on the Honey Badger, but they're able to land on to No More Heroes. No More Heroes will have the recall in time. Now the Gorge has been utilized, but that's on to Peldor. Peldor could engage off of this. Light Bomb gets utilized, but no, Peldor just gonna run away. And level 20 is actually hit, but No More Heroes is gonna get taken down, and Peldor gets hooked back in again. Now is trying to spin away, but the jet propulsion will land, slowing Sands on a couple more autos, and really aggro Ghoul Elites able to get the win for themselves. Now just like that, it's a 5-on-3 yet again. The shrines are now available, but they may not even need them. They're gonna take this bruiser camp as Rexiod is starting this siege onto this mid lane wall. Now Sanraku is already grouping to top as I heard the hook, but didn't see anyone move on the minimap, so just wide by Honey Badger. Now they could take the Dragon Knight here. It should be pretty free for them. Honey Badger going to be the one to take the shrine over the bot side, and it looks like they're gearing up for Rexiod to be the one inside of the Dragon Knight. Rexiod ready to pilot it, and there's no more forts, so they could look to take a keep of their own. And they do have the natural push in both top and mid lane, but bot lane, that's where they're losing out right now, and that's where they're going to take the Dragon Knight. Now immediately just going to use the Fire Breath and just start wailing away at the towers and dealing so much damage. Look how fast those cannon towers get taken down. And with the Fire Breath over top as well. Not too much they can do to defend against this. The hook not going to land. And it is on cooldown a bit. And when the hook is on cooldown, that's when you could go a little bit more aggro on the Habitual line support. And No More Heroes is in the backside. They do land the hook and the Gorge onto Vermin, but the Unstoppable, and they're able to throw Do back. And now Peldor going to get actually kicked away. And the Dragon Knight just trying to deal damage. The Taz Dingo does come out. Vern going to go down first. Peldor hooked into the backline. Lagwagon still alive. Will be able to self-heal. And only one person's down so far. And the kick away under Turtwig. And that was a very controlled fight by Rage. That could have been very difficult to play. Team fights are always so much harder when you're the one piloting the Dragon Knight. And now the hook does land on Peldor. But the Chastise lands on No More Heroes. And that's the target they're looking for. But with the dashes, will be able to back away. The keep is just sitting at a little bit of HP. They should have the damage, and they will walk up and take it down. So that's going to be the second keep going in, or the first keep going in favor of Rage. Now they're looking for the push. The Dragon Knight has expired, and all 5 members are still grouped over to this bot side. 20 seconds onto the Garrosh. Will be back soon. Vern gonna be with the team shortly, but they decided that with 15 seconds they cannot aim to end. But they got a lot out of that. And in the meanwhile, there has been a push happening at the top side. And they lost most of their top lane wall. Mid lane wall was being held, so not too much damage done there, as another siege camp is taken down. The XP lead is actually still in favor of Habitual line steppers. But the thing is, it doesn't matter too much at this point. Level 20 talents have been hit by both sides. So it's really just going to come down to the map pressure and the team fights. So now they're going to take down this bruiser camp. And once again, when talking about map pressure, having these extra camps pushing in will help a lot. It won't help quite as much into the Sylvanas, assuming they use their black arrows. But it is something for them to watch out for. But now all 5 members of Habitual Line Steppers are grouping towards mid, kind of in the bush. But really, Agro Ghoul Elites might even be looking to push for the core here with this Bruiser camp. Now they're looking back and forth. Vern is spotted. They're able to land the jet propulsion and the hook. The Unstoppable does come through. And they're looking for Lagwagon, very obviously. Tazdingo going to utilize the Earth Shatter over top. And Peldor able to land the leap right onto K4K. K4K not able to land into the bunker, but the fight is still so close. And Peldor Hot's going to get taken down there. And No More Heroes going to get hit with the hook, but has the recall. Turtwig getting jumped upon by Sunraku. And now the healer is completely on their own. Sunraku looking for the play. And Boomer APM able to get away with 70 HP. But this could be a bad spot for them. The core did not take any damage. It is a 2-for-1 in their favor. And now this is where the real fight's going to be coming through. Honey Badger will have hook. Gorge in 30. The No More Heroes is going to be able to dodge away, but now they're on the core. They're aiming for it. Turtwig just trying to clear the wave right now. Honey Badger taking a little bit of damage. The Chastise goes wide. And it's so hard because they don't really have a wave to play with. Another wave is coming shortly. But only 15 seconds left onto Garrosh and 20 seconds onto the Sonya. The hook not going to land. Turtwig had to dodge that. If that hook landed, that could have been the game right there. Really solid defense coming out right now from the Habitual Line Steppers. Was a super close team fight. Just barely won out by Rage. But they weren't able to get too much out of it, unfortunately. They're going to have the map pressure. They're going to be potentially able to take the Dragon Knight. That's definitely what they're aiming for. But the side of Habitual Line Steppers, I think they do have enough pressure to be able to push back into the mid lane. They have to worry a little bit about it, though. The hook not going to land because the bot lane is pushing into them. There is a wave stacking for Rage. The top lane is going to have a natural push against them as well. So if they're trying to keep all 5 members mid at the same time, the time-lapse is going to get utilized, but it is just on Vern. And they're actually going to commit onto the Garrosh. They're going to pull them as far back as possible. They still have the fort here, and a Light Bomb is going to get utilized and will stun underneath it. So that is going to be a kill. The Slowing Sands just kind of keeping them away. And now Sunraku is on the back line. Jet Propulsion is going to land onto Peldor. The hook not going to land as well, though, because the hook from Peldor actually pulls him to safety. But now Sunraku going to be able to get into the Dragon Knight, and this could be the... Oh, canceled by one of the minions, actually. Rexiod gonna go in instead. Maybe that was an intentional cancel, actually, just to get Rexiod into it. And it looks like they're walking straight for the core. This is a 22-minute Dragon Knight. This Dragon Knight is gonna be strong. Now they're walking forward, gonna clear the wave with Sunraku. The defense is still possible. There are 4 members up for HLS. But I think with the Dragon Knight being this healthy and already smacking on the core, it's going to be hard. And now Turfway going to get zoned away. Bunker just kind of there to deal more damage, but the leap going to get utilized. Tazdingo going to get thrown out as well. 40%, 35, and they're trying to win, and they are going to win the team fight, but the game is over. Rage able to take this to a game number 3. And just like that, we are going to the infamous game number 3. And I'm really looking forward to this. It has been very back and forth. That game especially was so close. Now, before we go into game number 3, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Match Masters. Match Masters is a competitive Match 3 game. It is completely free to play. And if you want to give it a shot, I would really appreciate it. Just click the link in the chat. And there we go. And any downloads, any of the... I forgot what the word for that is. But any of the goals that are reached that you can see over in my little widget do benefit me and the stream a lot. Please help support. And with that, we're going to go to another short break. And when we come back, it's going to be the deciding game number 3. So don't go anywhere. Our Ooh, wow. We are back for the third and final game between Relay Agro Ghoul Elites and Habitual Line Steppers. So now, winner takes all. Domination is no longer possible, but one final point and the winning point available and up for grabs here. Now, the bans have actually been changing quite a bit between these first two games, and we are going to Alterac Pass for game number 3. Another really tall map specifically. So I would be surprised to see Dahaka being let through by Rage. But we will have to see. It is going to be first pick on the side of Habitual Line Steppers once again. So we're going to have to wait and see how it goes. Stukov is going to get banned away again. So they are kind of repeating their ban so far from game number 2 as the Kel'Thuzad just not being allowed to be played. I'm not sure who plays it on Rage. It's got to be either Rexion or K4K, but they definitely did. Oh, as someone left the lobby, so I guess we'll hang out here. Not sure what happened, but yeah, the draft is definitely going to have to be redone a little bit. I'm curious what I'm guessing the pick order might have been wrong from what I can see. Yes, it was. Okay. Yeah, so we'll be back in shortly. They're just remaking it because the pick order was wrong. Team 2 or Team 1 should have the first draft. So with that being said, we're just waiting for one of them to return back. And apparently, instead of leaving the game, they just flat out alt F4'd. So we'll have to get back into that. But as soon as they rejoin, should be ready to go back in. So not too long a delay, hopefully. Yeah, looks like we are starting to get back in. I wonder if this is going to change the bans or if both teams are going to keep the same ones. I mean, not too much has been shown. None of the picks have really been shown. And the Kel'Thuzad and Stukov, they're not really bans that you're like, oh, well, we were going to ban that. These are both targeted bans, so we are back into the draft. So I don't think this is going to change too much. Luckily, they caught it pretty early. And that's really what you want to see in these situations. I suspect it's going to be Stukov and Kel'Thuzad. And then after that, will just depend. I still expect Dahaka to get banned away here on the side of Rage. I don't think it's something they want to play into. And I think specifically on Alterac Pass, it's very powerful too. It's a very large map, so that Brush Stalker gets so much more value being one of these better global maps. But no, they're actually going to change it up. They're going to ban away the Sylvanas. Put Boomer APM on a different hero this time around. Maybe they're looking for the Dahaka themselves, or they think it's something they can beat. But they do have first pick this time around. Whether or not that's what they choose to do remains to be seen, but HLS definitely think about who they want to remove, and Garrosh is going to be the ban for it. Interesting that they're the ones that banned it themselves. Last time, they were the ones that played it. Although, I do believe they did ban it themselves in game number 1 as well. And yes, the Dahaka is going to get locked in by Sunraku. I mean, not too surprising because it is the best offlaner in the game. Potentially the best hero in the entire game. So, yeah, it's definitely a little bit different here. But now a couple more picks going to be coming through here. It is going to be the Anduin. And Anduin was played quite a bit by Lagwagon this series, so going to be interesting to see them on something else. And the Hanzo locked in for No More Heroes. No More Heroes clearly really likes those Archer champs going from Sylvanas to Hanzo. With them on a healer, I'm sure they'll play Tyrande. But it is a good archetype. The Hanzo, especially on this map, is able to kind of prevent the camps from getting taken. The prisoner camps are definitely one of the hardest objectives to hold on to in this game, at least in my opinion, just because it takes so long and you have to be actively there preventing the little minions from decapping it. And now Lagwagon and Honey Badger are going to pick up Brightwing and a Nubarak. The Nubarak going to get locked in for Honey Badger once again. And Brightwing has that global presence. Same with the Dahaka for Sunraku. So it is possible to turn it into a 2-on-1 in the offlane or a 5 against 4 over in the main core side. Now Chromie going to get banned away. They don't want Rexiod playing that again. They did ban away in game number 1. Let it be picked in game number 2 and lost to it. So does seem like the correct decision. As Johanna going to be the 3rd ban coming out of Rage. Okay, and just like that, by the way, we have confirmation. Once we are done this cast, we are not done for the day. We will be picking up the B-West match between Macro Machines and Bork Side of the Moon. So, if you like HOTS action, if you like NGS action, don't go anywhere once this game's done. We're going to have even more HOTS coming your way as soon as this game ends. I had to get permission from both the teams, since we are actually delaying, so. But anyway, going back to the draft, Peldor are actually going to lock in the Samuro, and Samuro also very powerful hero in this game. And Lee, Ming, and Greymane locked in for Rexiod and K for K. So, another very long range team comp, and with the Mei getting locked in for Vern, Li Ming's actually very good into Mei. Has a lot of burst damage. Mei does, I don't believe, has any spell armor. And there's really no way of blocking Li Ming's stuff. But the Sergeant Hammer, 10th pick, coming through it. And I'm trying to think. I don't think it's the perfect draft breaker this time around, because they do have a Nubrak, they do have Li Ming, and even Dahaka, if they're able to land on get onto Boomer APM, will be able to drag them back into their team. But I think this Samuro is going to be very difficult to deal with for the side of really Agro Ghoul. There's really not a lot that can be hit into it. But either way, let's get into the 3rd and final game number 3. All right, we are back once again, just about done loading in. And we are going in here. So now, I am very interested to see this offlane matchup specifically between Sunraku and oh, I forgot to actually check. It is going to be Peldor playing it. So it is going to be Vern main tanking once again. Is Peldor going to be in the offlane on that Samuro? But that's the matchup I'm most curious about, the Samuro versus the Dahaka. I do think that Dahaka is able to win if it's just the one lane, but Samuro can kind of put pressure towards the mid lane, kind of get that pushing out as well. And then definitely doesn't lose the trade, I don't think. That's going to be really entertaining to watch. That's definitely my biggest takeaway from this, as Peldor already in a good position inside the brush. A4K is right there, but neither side sees each other. Peldor is invisible. Not getting pinned quite yet, but they definitely see him. But we'll be able to just dash away to safety. So now, with that, Sunraku and Peldor are going to go straight to the top side, but Boomer APM already pushing out the bot lane. And that's going to be able to get them a little bit of that extra DPS. Now, the drag does land onto Peldor, but Peldor, once again, just able to summon new monkeys and will be okay from there. I don't expect any one-on-one kills, but I am curious to see who's going to be able to keep pressure. I just realized this isn't Dragon Triders. They don't need to keep pressure. Yeah, so this definitely benefits Samuro, but actually Samuro getting taken down solo. Sunraku able to deal so much damage. That Dahaka is just so powerful. Now they're clearing away this bot. This bot camp is Boomer APM just going to be here to kind of clear the wave. But a lot of damage still being done to the structures, and especially with these little Scarabites. They don't do a lot of damage, but over time it will add up. And No More Heroes and Turtwig going to be starting on their siege camp. K4K and Lagwagon going to get started on their siege camp. Thundercoot going to be double soaking for the next little while. And is just looking for the play. Oh, just barely didn't land the drag. I don't even think that was a reaction. I think that was just unexpected for both of them. The drag just slightly goes wide with the accidental dodge from Peldor. It's always fun seeing coincidences like that. But now they're going to be clearing away all of these minions over the bot side. Both siege camps have been hit, and I believe the red side got it just a little bit earlier, which actually favors Rage, funnily enough, at least in terms of push pressure. Won't matter too much since Peldor is there first, so we'll be able to push it back. Now Boomer APM in full siege mode, just able to clear it out. Later on into the game, Rexiod will be able to deal even more damage. And right now, it does look like it's a kind of a mix between the... I believe this is the build you go for when you go for the Arcane Orb. And I think into a Sergeant Hammer, the Arcane Orb is definitely the best pick. You're going to be hitting max range hit all the time, but Vern gets taken down quite low. The Blizzard and the Leap of Faith will keep him alive, but that's a lot of damage and will be forced to tap out the well. Boomer APM once again just hiding behind the wall, clearing the wave. But bit by bit, they're able to damage onto these structures. And once they're able to finish it off, there's not going to be too much room for Boomer APM to hide. It becomes a lot harder once this gate goes down. And the clear speed is quite good on Boomer APM, but it's definitely not good enough to completely prevent the damage being done. But Peldor, and one of the benefits of having that Samuro, can solo take the camp. And they are going to have to answer it eventually, but it's completely free on the Samuro. You don't lose anything by going for it. Thundercoot, however, is able to get a little bit of a push as we see the Burrow Charge into the Impale. The Burrow Charge or Burrow Strike? Burrow Charge, I was right, okay. But no action going to be coming through from that. Boomer APM just going to be clearing away this bot lane. The little mines are going to hit on the Honey Badger. Not going to deal too much damage, but will dismount as the second set of camps has respawned. The siege camps on this map have a very short respawn time, only about 20 seconds. As little Scarabites once again just kind of keeping the wave in a good position. And with that, Honey Badger is going to try and collect the camp themselves, but Boomer APM is in place. Same with Vern, throwing out the blinding snowball. Honey Badger should be okay. Has that 40 spell armor on the shield. We'll be able to just walk out. So nothing ventured, nothing gained. And there is a little bit of a push happening over in the mid lane, but one thing I've noticed is Sunraku has been constantly pushing out the top lane and getting so much pressure. Peldor's trying to get the Samuro kind of going towards the objectives, but with the objective being on the bottom side, it does get a little bit harder. Now Honey Badger trying to sneak in once again, but not going to be able to. And I never considered it, but Mei actually has a lot of ways of interrupting the camp takes as well. It's kind of using the cooldowns on that, but at the same time, if that's where your tank is, you're not really too worried about it. Now Peldor going for his attempt. K4K is already here to defend, though. Honey Badger is going to be following up as well, so both sides just kind of feeling it out. But now Vern looking for the play. The Blizzard is not going to land in a perfect spot. Lagwagon. The icing just barely off the mark. Lagwagon almost got pushed in, but because of that attempt, Honey Badger got to be able to get a couple of seconds onto the camp. Now Boomer APM was trying to push forward. The Burrow Charge not going to land. The Impale also dodged away by Boomer APM. Very good fleet footwork. And with that, we'll be safe, but that's still going to be a decent bit of pressure coming out top. And now Sunraku taking Peldor quite low. The drag not going to land. Just auto attack trading back and forth. And Sunraku is definitely winning out 1v1 in this lane. I guess Samuro does have a lot of pressure possible over in the multi-lane district. But when it comes to the 1v1, definitely losing out on it. But the mid lane fort is losing so much health as Honey Badger able to get a little bit more time onto this prisoner camp. And it's just going to dodge away from everything, just kind of preventing them from taking it. There's really nothing that threatens the kill onto Honey Badger quite yet. And now it's down to 9.2 seconds. There was a solo kill. Vern able to get that kill. And with that, it is the Dahaka. The Breath Sucker is there if they want to turn this into a 4v5. But they're just winning the fight flat out. They have their level 10s. They're just pushing through. Sanraku is here now. Is getting ready with the drag. And not going to land it onto anyone quite yet, but they are going to be able to get themselves the objective. Now, Honey Badger trying to get behind Boomer APM. Boomer APM kind of in a sticky situation, but should be okay and will be okay. Has the 25 spell armor to prevent the poke from Rexiod. That's only going to be able to help for some burst damage, not all of the poke. And they have been able to take down this entire bot lane wall. And now they're looking for the fort immediately. Boomer APM is there, going to get hit by the Impale, but still in siege mode, still hitting on a K4K and actually dealing a lot of damage. The heal owl, unfortunately, going to be misclicked onto Rexiod, but Honey Badger slowly but surely will still heal with the Pulse Healer. And Honey Badger looking for the play, forcing Boomer APM to run away. And meanwhile, on the top side, Sunraku once again trying to fight onto Peldor, and Peldor gets so low. The isolation was utilized, but just a little bit not enough timing to get the kill. But now the fight is starting to get set up. The cursed bullet has been utilized. Vern dodging out. Dragon's Arrow used as well. And it's just Vern on the backside. They do have the cocoon on No More Heroes. But both sides just going to walk away. One fort is taken down. And I'm actually a little bit surprised, but not too much damage done to the fort on the top side. Sanaku has had a very good push, so it wasn't a very strong fort remaining. Now Siege Camp is going to be taken down once again by both teams. Just the usual Alterac pass things. I believe it's a 1.5 minute respawn timer. So it does come up very, very often. Now they've sent Lagwagon into the offlane just there to pick up the XP. But Honey Badger starting, moving to the top side, looking for Vern, not going to land. But the Curse Bullet does land. So much damage. The percent max HP really coming into play there. But not going to be able to commit onto too much else. The bosses are now up. So that is something that both of these teams could start looking towards. As Lagwagon actually matching it to Peldor. Definitely not the best matchup into a Samuro, but could still delay, could still push out the lanes. I'm not sure if they could get burst out, but I think with Blink Heal will be a bit more difficult. Now Honey Badger looking for the play. Boomer APM gonna get stunned. And the Impale, nope, no Impale, and will actually knock them away. Boomer APM able to walk away. Now Vern looking for the fight as well. No More Heroes and the Blizzard into the icing. K4K gonna get hit by the Dragon Arrow, just gonna get fully taken down. Snowball not gonna land onto anyone, but that's still a kill back for Habitual Line Steppers, and they do have the level 13 now. Now in the meanwhile, in the bot lane, Sanraku and Lagwagon looking towards Peldor. Peldor starting to get quite low. Tries to turn invisible, trying to run away, but they do see him. Goes into the 3 little monkeys, all gonna get cleared away. But in the meanwhile, the top lane boss is gonna be getting taken down by Habitual Line Steppers. And that could be something for them to start building their lead with. Been under half a level lead, but it is starting to form for the Habitual Line Steppers because of that kill and just a couple of other plays. They have been soaking the map a little bit better from what I've seen now. Honey Badger is on the wrong side of the Blizzard. The icing not going to push back in time. And will be forced to use the Bro Charge to get away. But Peldor still chasing onto this play. However, Sunraku is pushing out in the bot lane. There is a little bit of fight breaking out. The boss is actually going to get moved away from. So it looks like they are going to be giving up this top lane fort. There's not too much they can do about it. And the fight's actually going to be coming through towards this camp. Now, luckily, the little minions have been delaying the start. And Honey Badger already here. The Impale not going to land. Sunraku looking for the play. No More Heroes just going to dash over the... I'm not even sure what this is. Like a little pond. I guess that's what we can call it here. But K4K now going to come back to start dealing with his boss, who's actually even dealing damage to the wall for the keep. And Turtwig gonna get canceled. Rexiod always ready with the Arcane Orbs. And actually, Honey Badger goes in with the Impale. Oh, but the Arcane Orb not landing in time. They do have the Cocoon. And just so much damage coming out to Disintegrate. But it's going to be Honey Badger going down first, actually. Lagwagon going to have to use the Blink Heal to get away. But that's going to be a pick for Habitual Line Steppers. And now they should be able to get themselves this. But Rexiod actually going to get hit away by the Snowball. Not going to be able to cancel it in time. But Vern and Turtwig taking so much damage over just from the Arcane Orbs. And it is the Arcane Orb build. And it kind of, I don't think it's any like individual full build. It's just kind of building the talents that they think are good at each tier. But now the health bars are coming through. 15 seconds left. They're trying to land some poke, but not enough of it's landing Turtwig's able to heal up the bit that is. And K4K able to land a decent bit of poke on a Boomer APM. 5 seconds left. Honey Badger is back, and they're able to land it onto No More Heroes and the Impale as well, but all the safety is coming through. They have a few stuns going through, and they did manage to secure the camp. So no fight gonna happen there. Dragon Arrow gonna be coming up back now. But they were just kind of able to push them away, and I actually never learned the ability name. Not Spider-Man. Concussive Blast. Able to keep them alive. Same with the Blizzard, just kind of keeping the fight from really getting going. They got a good start onto No More Heroes, but just a little bit not enough damage to secure it. Now the cavalry has arrived in the mid lane. K4K gonna be pushing out the cavalry in the top lane, but Boomer APM is here and ready to start just autoing onto this. But Cocoon's gonna get utilized with the Impale as well, just to buy time and slow down this siege. And with that, that's all they're gonna be able to get over in this top lane. Now Peldor is starting to group up here. The Dragons are going to land onto 3, and the Isaac coming through. Rexion able to teleport away. And now the blind does land on a couple of them, but that's not going to be enough for any kill. But now Honey Badger's going in. They have the light bomb, but it's only going to land onto Honey Badger. Lagwagon able to get the heal, and the Chastise lands on a Lagwagon. And just Poe going back and forth. Once again, no one's going down. The fight is still continuing. Now, Sunraku was able to get a little bit of a push in the bot side and actually took care of a lot of that wave. Pelder is quite low. Not going to get hit by the burrow charge, but it now becomes the game. Can you chase down the Pelder? They know that this is the real one. Just need a little bit of cooldowns. But unfortunately, Pelder's cooldowns are faster and is able to just walk away unscathed. But they do have the pressure over the bot lane. They do have the numbers. They could look towards the boss, but decide not to. Habitual line steppers, there are a lot of members nearby. No More Heroes and Vern gonna walk down as well. And now it's gonna be Sunraku pushing out the top side. And bit by bit, this XP lead has closed. It's barely even there anymore, just slightly. And with the Bruiser Camp getting taken down, and actually they have to worry about the mid lane. Sunraku gonna be here to defend a little bit, but this fort may actually go down here. Peldor gonna make sure it does. The drag just barely not gonna land, as Pelder is just going to wail away onto this fort. But the fight is breaking down on the bot side. Honey Badger will land the cocoon, and they have the healer. Turnway going to get taken quite low, but the snowball going to get used to stop the fight in its tracks. Rexion and Honey Badger are here, but now Pelder coming in from behind. The Dragon Arrow has already been utilized, so there is no long range engage. No More Heroes going to get hit by that Arcane Orb. Disintegrate is off cooldown now as well. Curse Bolt still 20 seconds. But they do have a lot of cooldowns still available on the side of Habitual line steppers. Now they land the Impale, and Vern's just going to get almost entirely blown up. 400 HP. And now Sunraku is here. The drag just barely out of range. But that's a lot of HP taken down from the tank. It's going to be so hard for them to defend on this. They need to try and poke it out, try and prevent them from capping it to begin with. And Vern over the wall will be able to do that. Now Pelder going to get a decent amount of damage onto Rexion, but with the pulse, healing will be okay. And now the siege has begun. Boomer APM has the extra range, and this is where it becomes difficult. Rexion just kind of poking over the wall, trying to make it difficult for them to push over the wall. And now they do have the Chastise, and Peldor actually able to get into the middle of everyone, but they're gonna be okay. But they managed to get themselves the objective. The objective is now channeling. And now Pelder gonna get polymorphed immediately after coming out, but the leap of faith is there from Turtwig. But still 30 seconds remaining on this objective. How much more can they get with this? Now the Arcane Orb lands on a Vern, but doesn't deal too much damage. And the isolation has been thrown out onto Boomer APM. Boomer APM gonna get hit with the drag. It's in the middle of the team, but the light bomb goes off at the same time, and the concussive blast going to keep Boomer APM safe. But it doesn't matter because Sunraku is going to be there. But in the meanwhile, the real fight's happening over here. Pelder just overtop everyone, and the Disintegrate overtop everyone. Pelder's the first to go down. And now Honey Badger does land the Burrow Charge on everyone. And Boomer APM somehow is still alive. Sunraku able to land the last hit onto it. And it's going to be a 2-for-0 for real aggro Ghoul elites. And they're going to have all of the cavalry pushing in. They're going to have help in the mid, top, and bot lane, as they're looking to go straight for the fort in the mid lane. And when you have this team comp, they don't even need to wait for the cavalry. They don't even need to wait for a wave. They can just keep spawning more Scarabites. Rexion dealing so much damage from the distance. And they're just going to be able to completely clear this fort. And that allows them to try and use this cavalry pressure for the keeps. And the keep walls. There's barely a wall left in the bot lane. Only thing they have to be a bit concerned about is Honey Badger is somewhat low on mana. But they do have a wave here, so they do not need the Scarabs for this push. The Blizzard is going to be thrown out. Gonna stun Honey Badger, but again, not a big deal. Rexiod gonna be throwing out the Arcane Orb. And mostly actually using them for poke right now. Pelter trying to clear it away, and they do have the Cocoon utilized on Turtwig, but that's not going to be available for the fight. And Vern actually taken out quite low. And with that, the first keep will go down. Just constant barraging coming down from Rexiod. And Honey Badger just using the cooldowns very liberally, knowing that all they needed to do, they don't need to fight, they just need to prevent them from clearing. A good chunk of this wall is gone as well, and Sunraku going to be able to get the wall over in this top side. No more heroes and Boomer APM already starting to move towards that lane. Now the wall will go down, a little bit of damage on the keep, nothing to really write home about though. As there is a little bit of fighting happening in the bot side. Pelter going to be using the Blade Storm. I don't think I even knew what that ability name was called. It's not often I get a cast for Samuro. That's going to be a keep down in 17 minutes. They're looking at the boss, and the boss could, in theory, win them the game here. If they're able to keep it healthy enough, by the time it gets to the core, they could definitely try to end on this. Level 20s have been hit by both sides. And there's absolutely no chance that this boss gets interrupted. There's no chance that the cavalry will get taken at the same time. However, what could happen is the ensuing fight afterwards. The boss is just going to go down now. And Vern actually might be able to get there in time, but the Polymorph will prevent it. Light Bomb going to get utilized as well. Only lands on a Honey Badger. And the Dragon Arrow over top will land onto Lagwagon, but Lagwagon will be in a safe position. They have put away the healer into the Cocoon. Now Turtwig is out now, but is sitting into the front. In a very bad spot, Arcane Orb gets thrown out over the top. And Rexiod just kind of pushing. And look at the damage going out on the Boomer APM. They're not going to continue with this push. They decided they don't want to chase into this fight. But what they are going to do, Sanraku's going to dig immediately up to the top, start pushing in that wave. And they're actually ignoring this boss. Now the boss, oh yeah, this is Alterac Pass. The boss is not going to be able to end the game solo unless another keep is taken. So the next fight will definitely either be on this topside boss or over onto this prisoner camp. And judging by the way these two teams are positioning, it's definitely going to be on this prisoner camp. They're able to deal so much damage to Vern immediately at just around a quarter HP. Pelter is here now, and Vern actually goes in, just trying to protect the camp. Oh, but now Sunraku's here as well. Still should not have enough damage to end, because it is going to be difficult, but the fight is happening over here instead. And now Boomer APM going to get hit with a stun, but with the concussive blast is going to be safe. But the snowball, they're able to get the light bomb combo on top of it as well, and able to land on a 3, and just like that, everyone is gone. Lagwagon's gone. Honey Badger's gone. As Sunraku is still trying to end, but will be difficult. It still has 2 keeps. And the game will go on. Vern is gonna be here, gonna start channeling onto this camp instead. And with the siege camp pushing in mid, they're gonna have the pressure in this lane as well. Any other map, that probably would have been the end of the game. But this is Alterac Pass, and, well, that's why they didn't really send anyone to defend. They knew they had time. They knew they could just wait and push this out. But it does look like this camp is going to be free for them. K4K just going to try to take some of the XP and levels back in their favor. And just to help a little bit with the push over the mid lane, Pelter just going to be wailing away at that mid lane wall a little bit. Just for a little bit of poke, nothing too substantial has been done there. 10 more seconds left until the cavalry arrives. And that's the beauty of this map. Massive wave about to hit the core. Literally doesn't matter. It's not something you're concerned about on this map. It will delay the cavalry coming through in the bot lane for them. So they are going to have to focus most of their push towards mid and top. And you definitely do want at least 2 of these down. Now Pelter actually going to get taken out quite low. Boomer APM going to get hit as well. But now the Blizzard able to stop them. Sunraku is in the back. Not going to be able to land the drag, but will get hit by the snowball. And is in a very bad spot, trying to burrow under, and will be able to get away. Sunraku barely had the HP. But that's going to be the snowball used. So that's a big teamfight ultimate. That's going to be on cooldown during this push and siege. It is going to be a lot easier for them to fight. It's super scary to fight into these cavalry just because of the bonus damage you get from it. Now the stun will land over onto Rexiod as the wave is cleared. Boomer Gaming just kind of throwing a few spells at it. the arcane orbs are doing a lot of damage, and they do have the cocoon onto the mate, but they're able to land so much DPS and the stuns over top, and that's just going to force them back, so they will be able to clear it. And Sunraku actually gets killed by No More Heroes over the top of the wall. Not sure how that happened, but a good play by No More Heroes. And the top side, Peltor is already pushing on the top, utilizing the Blade Storm, and Peltor not going to get hit by the stuns as the mid keep is gone. Now the top keep is the one under threat. And with the Sergeant Hammer, makes it so much easier to take it down. Able to stay in such a safe spot, and typically you would want that Dehaka to be the one pressuring the offlane. And I was talking about the delay of the final cavalry, but it is here anyway. Chastise is going to get thrown out, not going to land onto anyone. And they need to start clearing this away. They may even need to try and engage this 4v5. And Honey Badgers will do that, but will take a lot of damage and will get stunned and will get taken out. The Light Bomb lands onto Lagwagon and Rexion. Now Lagwagon is in a bad spot and will get taken out. There's no more healer. And that's going to be 5 against 2 with the core exposed. But it is Alterac Pass, one of the strongest cores, probably the strongest core in the game. But they are hitting onto it. They are 5 members strong. But the poke from Rexion and K4K is also strong. The final cavalry has gone down, and Peldor is pretty low. Not going to get hit by the drag. But now Vern will go in, and they will be able to take down the scariest member of the team. But now it's just going to be K4K and Sunraku trying to defend this. This is going to be so close. Boomer APM is quite low. Peldor's quite low. Sunraku is trying to jump onto the backside. But will go get taken down. K4K is the last one. It just goes in for an all-in play, but will get kited back. K4K gonna go down, and that's gonna be game. Habitual Line Steppers will win this 2-1. All right, and with that, that is this series done. I'm not going to spend too long talking about this game. I think the best way to describe this game is just rewatch the VOD. This was an absolutely intense and banger series. Congratulations to Habitual Line Steppers for winning this game. They've definitely earned it. But now I'm going to take a very short break, but we are going to be starting basically immediately with Div B West Macro Machines versus Borg Side of the Moon. Don't go anywhere. There is still a lot of HOTS action to come. Right after I need to set up, get in touch with them, and then we'll be going right back in. Don't go anywhere.